folks. All right, folks. Here we go. All right, I'm having a great little. Oh, God damn it!
Follow from. Follow from. Follow from. Don't follow from.
Sincere apologies to anybody that I screamed at with for voting for Trump, anyone I unfriended or kicked out of my house because you were a Trump supporter. And I also want to apologize to anyone who told me that 9/11 was an inside job and I was like, no, it was done by terrorists, get away from me. You guys were right. Oh, and Trump was right about fake news. Masks, you were really no threat to me because the masks did nothing. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everybody that tried to set me straight, but I was still living in cognitive dissonance and I couldn't see it. My sincere apologies.
I told you so. I told you. I told you so. I told you. Remember when I told you about 9/11? Remember when I told you about Building 7? Remember when I told you about the fluoride in the water? Yes, I did. Remember when I told you about the New World Order? Remember that? Remember when I told you about the chemtrails in the sky? Remember when I told you that NASA was full of lies? Remember when I told you about the ultra mind control? Well, I just want to say that I told you so, yeah. Remember when I told you about 432 hertz, that is, and what 440 can do to you? It hurts my ears. Remember when I told you about the vaccine agenda? Yes, I did. And that Michelle Obama is a transgender. Yes, he is. The dinosaur fraud, the climate change scam, and yes, Sandra Bullock is also a man. Remember when I told you that there ain't no globe? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah. Remember when I told you about the TV flicker rate? And how it puts your brain in an alpha state? Remember when I told you about germ theory? Remember when I told you about gravity? Remember that? Remember when I told you about Paul McCartney? Remember when I told you about direct energy? Remember when I told you about Monsanto? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. 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 Yeah. Remember when I told you about the mainstream media? Your so-called celebrities and pedophilia. Remember that? Child trafficking and adrenochrome. Remember when I told you about the Georgia Guidestone? Remember when I told you about the false flag operation? Remember when I told you about 5G radiation? Remember that I told you that? Well, I just want to say that I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Yeah, I told you so. Yeah. But you didn't listen. I told you so. I told you so.
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's really good. I just want to say thank you for all that you've done with the Truth Movement. I found you like when I found you, it was right when I just started looking into Flat Earth. I was blown away that you were that far ahead where you woke up, you wrote some songs, you made some videos, and I'm like, whoa, where was I here? You know, it was just like, wow, you're so like.
Well, you got to remember that there's people that are only now discovering flat Earth. They don't realize how old it is. You know, it's just that I was one. I suppose one of the. Well, I'm not one of the first. Flat Earth's been around for bloody forever, hasn't it? Really, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
But I was, you know, just at that point of waking up to. Well, I mean, I woke up in 2012 with the whole 9/11, and I was on that Truth journey and looking at all of that sort of information on YouTube back in the good old days when YouTube wasn't censoring, and it offered me Flat Earth in 2016, and I'm like laughing at it, going, who believes that? What a load of nonsense. And I clicked on a video, it was a Mark Sargent video, and because I clicked on that, it said, oh, you like this Flat Earth video? How about another one? How about it? I was like, yes, please, this is amazing. So that was 2016, and by then I was just getting my confidence in the studio, just about, because I've got a ringtone company, that's how I make my bread and butter, so I'd already been making some 30-second little jingles and that, but I'd never really done full proper songs and that, let alone videos. But I was just and I wrote my first song, and it was just, I put it on the internet, and I didn't have a green screen. I put a hat on and shades to hide behind the character because I wasn't comfortable about talking about flat earthers myself.
Yeah.
You know, my family and friends are going to think I'm crazy. Let's just put on a voice. So I sort of, did some shots in the studio, and that was 2017. I made my first music video, and everyone, the community found it. The small community that was at the time, which was Mark Sargent, Jeremy's, and Bob, them names, and they all loved it, and they was like, oh, who is this guy, And then the term Flat Earth Man was coined because of the name of the first song, which was called Flat Earth Man.
Yeah.
And then somebody wanted another video. Make another one. All right. I had iMovie. I still use iMovie. And it's got a little green screen feature in there. And I thought, I must work out how to use that. And it turned out to be a piece of cake. What you mean? All I've got to do is get a piece of cloth that's green, stand in front of it, and I can put in whatever I want behind it. That got my wheels turning. I was like, oh my God, and then of course the whole creative process started. Like, I could be on top of the ISS and floating, and all I've got to do is get a table, cover it in green cloth, and I was on that awakening journey of flat Earth, and it was just like gave me this huge creative boost and this burst, and I was just like an animal every month or every 2 months just putting out a new video, and people were loving it, and I was loving the attention. If I'm honest, I never got much attention or recognition when I was a child, so it was all the recognition that I was starved of. So I was like, let's make another video. Now I don't put as much, I'm not as prolific because that sort of stage has worn off a little bit, but that I was so prolific. I must have put out a good 6 or 7 videos in a year, and all green screen work, and I'm doing it all and using iMovie, which is just so limited. I've got Final Cut Pro now, but the irony is I don't make many videos these days. But Final Cut Pro would have been handy in them earlier days. But yeah, there's a lot to it. When I sometimes look back at the videos and I think, fucking hell, that's a lot of work. It's daunting looking at them now, how much work I put into them. To do another project like that now, I would have to really take a deep breath, because I know it's going to take me 2 or 3 months to create something like that. And that's what it was taking me at the time, 2 or 3 months for a 5-minute video. So yeah, it was just that huge, holy fucking shit. How have we been lied to? I've got to tell everyone. The only way I know how, is, to write a song about it and put it into comedy. And I didn't know how well it would work and how well it would travel and how you can almost defeat the algorithms if you're using comedy and the right lyrics, rather than being just a talking. It's only now I'm realizing the power of the stuff and how it's, changed a lot of people's lives and being used to educate children and all that sort of. So it's like, I never knew the power of it in those early days. Now I'm like, oh my God, I'll give myself a little pat on the back because it's really, really done some good things,
Wonderful things. Like you doing it in the comedy way is what I admire the most, because a lot of times when people talk about truth, they can't help like being like, yeah, the government's lying to you, and like really scary stuff. And that's badass if you're like into that, but like at the end of the day, like flat earth is a positive conspiracy, and like no one's gonna write like happy songs about like Sandy Hook. No one's gonna be like, yeah, I'm so much more closer to the creator because I figured out Sandy Hook, like writing songs. But like with flat earth, like it is, it's almost like it was the last one after like going through all of those kind of negative things. Like flat earth was like the beacon of like positive at the end. And so like seeing your art, especially back then, like it made me feel like I was already FOMO'd. And even though like I found you in 2017 and I'm like, oh my God, people have known this I say 2014 because of the, the Nikon camera. I know there were flat earthers before, but not like before the Nikon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so right around there, it's like, I expected, I don't know, it was just so weird. I didn't really believe that I was noticing something so early. So to see you do that and to just be like, yeah, no big deal. I'm like, it was like, I'm like, wow,
I've always had that. I've usually always had that approach. It's a nicer approach to have, because you have to bypass all the lies to realize how magnificent flat earther is, and it opens up the idea of a creator. I'm now, I believe in a creator now. I was an atheist before, so it is a beautiful thing. But you have to go through all the darkness to get to that beautiful thing. And I navigated the darkness, and yes, it is dark, and the world is a very dark place, and that sits with you consciously, right? It always sits in your subconscious. It's like, all I'm offering is the truth, Neo, nothing more. It's like that. It's like, but I've never been one to dwell on the darkness. I like to. I've always been a joker and a piss taker, and I've always been just the joker at school, So I've always made a lot. I will always ha 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 ha. Everyone's dying. Did you take the poison? Ha ha ha. Rather than like you say, the world is a bad place, and we don't need any more fucking love songs, do we? We don't need any more of that. We've got to, so it's a good way to do it with a, because no one gets out of here alive, do they? We've all got to navigate this bad place, and I would rather do it with a hop and a skip and a catchy chorus and a smile on my face, So that's how it's a coping mechanism in a way. So
Well, no, yeah, absolutely. And with COVID, like that was kind of like a crash course in what does work and what doesn't. And ultimately, like I learned that okay, it's got to be, you got to like find that line of like where you're kind of crossing it, and you got to just kind of show that it's not bothering, because like I don't know, maybe it's like an insecurity for me, but I really kind of don't. If I put something out and like half the comments were like negative, it would probably affect me, just because I try to put out stuff that just doesn't try to push the limit. And so like, but that was my main focus, like with anything that I do is just like would have to be blaring on the side of positive, not trying to not trying to like do fear porn or anything, and just showing like the elite that like we're above it. We see their scam and we're laughing at it. And
yeah.
I
mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had my dark songs. I mean, during that whole COVID time, well, it was when I put out 3 of my heaviest songs. One was Big Pharma. And the video to that is actually quite dark, it actually got taken down from YouTube, and then I had to pixelate because I was showing, people shaking in their hospital beds like this, quite graphic, even a little baby shaking, so that was
how dare you show that on YouTube?
Right,
you got a lot of nerve showing that.
So that wasn't exactly me hop, skipping, jumping with a joyful song. And I Told You So as well was quite, it was, a frustration song. And television watching News Believer was again heavy. So not all of my stuff is like, ha, 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 ha. But that just, I guess that's just me dealing with that time. being so frustrated at all the television watching news believers that I had to go point the finger and go, television watching news believer, and that's therapeutic for me, you know. So yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you obviously are very musically talented, so like using your gifts in that way, like right when, especially when COVID happened and with Flat Earth, like no one would really listen to me unless I would play songs. I was always the music guy, but whenever I was like, hey guys, I'm into conspiracies, they're like, yeah, shut up, and play a solo in G or something. I'm like, okay, and as I got more and more into conspiracies, and then with COVID, like, on Facebook, like, I'm like, I can't talk to anybody. And so what do? We go to our what we know, and you do it so well. And it really gave me a lot of inspiration, man, because it's scary. And this is what I really want to ask you. Because like just putting your face on flat Earth, maybe it gets easier over time because it's becoming more and more accepted. But in 2017, I mean, I remember every debate, like with Jaron or anybody those times, like 9 times out of 10, the Globe Believer was saying, "Oh, why don't you go drink bleach?" And like all the comments were just the most vile stuff. Like I don't see that anymore, but back then it was like
that's again. I mean, to put your face out there and start talking about flat Earth. That's why I got a lot of respect for Jaron and David Weiss and all. I wasn't doing that in a way because I was putting on a hat and some shades and a completely different voice, and I was singing like that. So if I hid behind that. So it was, it worked, and it made me very, very comfortable eventually, because then people wanted to start to talk to me, like, who's this guy that's doing this music? And then, I wasn't going to do interviews going, hi, my name's Alex Michael, and I couldn't do that.
I thought that was your voice, though, at first.
And so many people did, and I wasn't setting out to deceive anybody, so that's why I couldn't go on an interview and start doing that voice. So I was, and then, so I was just, I was making a bloody point there, wasn't I? So it just made me, and then people wanted to know more about me and flat Earth and all of that sort of my beliefs and that, and so the flat Earth man character was really helpful to get me more comfortable with actually talking about it. And when I started doing interviews, I couldn't get away from it, so it just kind of happened organically. And now I'm so comfortable with it. It's just like it's not complacency. It's just I'm really comfortable with it. It's because and it's now part of my reality. The way people think about me as a flat earther, I think the same way as Globers. I think that's a clown show to me. It's like, how on earth could you possibly believe this nonsense? Someone told me a new word the other day, heliospastics. When I saw that, I nearly pissed myself, because it's just like, how you're so retarded to believe that. So I'm so comfortable with this position now.
Yeah, but it was tough, and like that transition for me was really, really tough and kind of isolating at the time. And I felt like it was like I kept looking into the abyss, and then like a part of me was like, don't go too far. And I'm like, yeah. I'm just going to just watch a couple more Flat Earth videos. It's like, don't go too far. And the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, I'm getting stuck. Oh, I'm a Flat Earther now. I'm like, hey, it's just, I can't go back. And then I'm like, holy shit. And I just felt like I was just in the middle of this new world with nothing, And I'm like, okay, what do I do? Well, I can't lie to myself. I can't lie to myself now. Like before, and so then like you start saying, I need to talk, it's part of our nature to connect with people, and and I'm just seeing more and more creative folks like using what they got and getting into this. And I think Flat Earth like is just so new that like things like what you did, especially in those early like that was like, oh shit, that was like make or break. I mean, now I think we can probably not worry about it. Flat Earth is going to happen no matter what. But man, it felt so crucial when I looked into it. I'm like, this can be destroyed. Like that would, we can't allow that. and just, like, it's cool that you had the calling to do that, because like you said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's when you recognize how much of a lie that is, it's such a stupid, huge lie. Like, how do you not do something if you really like internalize it? And I just remember you saying that, so I don't know if you wanted to. I'm just kind of yammering right now, but like,
you go for it, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just like a giddy schoolgirl with all the Flat Earth community. I can interview any other celebrity and not give a shit at all. Like they do nothing, but like with you guys, I'm just like, Oh man, I'm like, hey, I'm like Chris Farley in the Chris Farley show. You know, he's like,
Yeah, it's weird. It's just because we've all got a great deal of respect for each other because we all know what we've all been through, and there's a big piece of, like when Bob died, he was such a piece of my life that I shed many a tear. But when my dad died 4 months ago, I didn't shed one tear. Like he was like part of my flat Earth family. So when you get to speak to Bob, like on Globebusters when he invited me on, I was really nervous. It was like, here's a guy I really, actually, genuinely love and respect. And same with all of them. So it's just because it's just this awesome family that are doing awesome things. And when you get to speak to one of these awesome people, you're like, oh, this is awesome, right?
yeah, well, yeah, and they just helped mold my whole. Like, I learned more from, a couple Globebusters than I did for 12 years in government indoctrination. Like literally, like just a 3-hour episode. A 3-hour episode of Globebusters, like could have just replaced so much of my childhood education. And when they're so approachable, like you would think that somebody that can do that and give you this kind of knowledge, like would be would be like somebody that you can't like approach, but it's just
They're incredibly approachable.
yeah, and it's just weird. It's an odd thing to just realize, like, oh, this is how I find out the shape of our Earth and this small little subset of the internet. And we're all like, hey, like it just doesn't. It's
Like an awkward. It's like an awkward room, isn't it? Like, oh hi, all right, you've been through it as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
we
therapy
discovered
for all of us.
Yeah, we discovered the biggest lie ever, and the entire world hasn't figured it out yet, and we're all just like, and we're watching people figure it out, and like we are right. Like,
Isn't it amazing?
100
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And we have to be so humble, and we are so humble if you really think about it. Like, besides me saying how humble we are, like we're so fucking humble, I mean, yeah, I'm the most humble person, in flat Earth, but
No, I am definitely.
That's right, it's you, now what about like what kind of backlash as far as your like personal community? That's been one of the toughest things for me, is bridging my new flat Earth family and trying to hold on to any semblance of people who knew me not as a flat earther and not be defined as that. And because I have a lot of people in my past that just like, they're like, okay, fine, you're a flat earther. You don't have to like, hello, I'm a flat earther, hear me roar. Like, it's kind of like what I became. And it's just because it's such a big deal, like I'm like,
dude, how about me? Look, I had to go from initially going, holy shit, the Earth is flat, I'm not telling anyone, to a year later, I'm flat Earth man everywhere, blah blah blah. Look at me, I'm trying to wake you up, right? So I know what you mean.
Yeah,
but,
it's hard to like be in the middle. I felt like I could either really own it over there, but like it's the middle area is
dude,
it's kind of hard to navigate.
It was luckier for me. I didn't have that many friends. I mean, first of all, I moved country, so I moved away from my family and friends initially. So that was a real good thing to do, really. So I just walked away from my family and my friends before Flat Earth hit me. So when I became Flat Earth, no one knew me over here. So the people that I was talking to and resonated, so it was just like I've just gained a new family over here, organically. Obviously, my family have seen what I've done, but they haven't. I've always been the black sheep of the family, so it didn't matter. I have no respect for any of them. And I don't even think they have the fucking intelligence to understand the paradigm shattering information that's in those songs that I've done. They just see me larking about. That's all they see. They see it on a comedic level. They'd have no idea what it's doing to save humanity, in that way, to exaggerate a little bit. If they did see it in that way, they would have a lot more respect, and they'll go, "Holy shit, Alex, that's fucking unbelievable. Well done, mate." But they don't. So one of the reasons I moved away from that and other friends as well, it just wasn't resonating with me. I felt like I was born in the wrong country. It's freezing cold in the UK. Spain is nice and warm. I've got a year-round tan. I feel better. I look better, and I'm getting to do what I love, and getting paid for it. So, and they're probably looking on going, why is he so fucking happy?
Oh yeah, no, that drives the normies crazy, is when you figure out a way to be, when this works. I mean, I know what you mean. My family's the same. I've always been the black sheep, scapegoat. And that's one thing I feel like conspiracy theorists have in common is I think we all were kind of raised very similar. Like maybe raised to be kind of the empath or something. But that's one thing I have noticed a common thread with the people that have gone this far down the rabbit hole is I don't know they don't. Not to get too dark, but I never hear a flat earther be like, "Oh yeah, my parents are still together and they love each other," or we had the greatest time growing up. Like I always hear.
It's very rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, it almost like, and something happened in our childhood maybe that made us question.
Yeah, we all had it because we were born into this world and it was shit. And the mums and dads were fighting and rowing. There was alcoholism and kids getting beaten. And we're like, this ain't right. Something. So if you had a bad childhood, which I did, I'm like, this ain't right. Where's the fucking love? Where's it wasn't there. It was so absent. And I started asking questions. Where am I? What is this place? How comes it's not? And you just start slowly figuring it out. I think if you did a study, you'd probably find a lot of, like you say, a lot of flat earthers have probably had quite the traumatic time as a child.
Yeah, when I was up the meetup in Sunset Beach, the one that Mark Sargent was at, I brought it up to a few people like sitting around a table, and they all just kind of looked at me like, "Oh, that's it." Like,
yeah, that's a good observation, bro. That's a very good observation. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed very empathetic people, and usually what I've learned through my own personal therapy and stuff is the scapegoated or the black sheep of the family generally would be blamed for stuff more, or just they kind of somehow like the unconditional love wasn't 24/7, so there was a lot of just questioning and it forced us to kind of constantly question our reality a little bit more than your average person. And I think it almost kind of feels like we just kind of got good at it, like it's a muscle or something. Because
a lot of people don't use that muscle.
Oh, I know. Isn't that weird? Like when I first figured out flat Earth, I thought everybody would want to hear. I'm like, you guys, this is insane. And oh my god, I've never. Oh my god, because before that, no one looked at me like this, and then that's like. I should have been a little more cautious, but yeah, oh my god, they would say things like, but what about science? And I'm like, but you just said a word. Wait, why are you? What? And then they'd laugh, and I don't know.
It's a level of mind control that's actually quite frightening. I've seen it on the streets. Like my friends do activism, and they've got people going up to them, these cocky little college kids that think they fucking know it all, or PhDs or whatever, they think they know it all, and they just can't hear a word of it, and they're laughing like with this arrogance, like, oh, what are they all in on it, and blah, and all of this kind, and you just think, oh, it's just that you're so lost, you have no idea, you almost feel sorry for them, forgive them for they know not what they do, they just have, they literally do not have their own minds, and that's actually quite a sad observation when you see that.
No, that's good. That's where we need to be. I honestly, like, ultimately, that's where I think the community needs to be, and recognize that we were all there at one point. We didn't camp around there, too long. I was like, no way, that sounds stupid. Okay, I'll look at a video. Okay, I'll look at, like, I didn't like fight it tooth and nail like everybody else seems to, but I definitely put my guards up. But I don't know. They just don't have the access to the YouTube maybe that we had to. There's so many factors.
I don't know. I think that there's so many factors, isn't there? Like you say, when having a rough childhood is a good factor. Being right-brained and creative, you'll see a lot of creative people and right-brained people in flat Earth as well. Maybe that's too. I don't know if there's a geographical aspect to it as well. I'm sure if you analysed it, you'll find probably an algorithm to find the perfect flat earther. Have you had a bad childhood? See the advertisement there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing to bring up, but like every time I do, it's like, you can kind of tell when you meet people that they've, that it's just, I don't know, it's not to say anything bad. I think it's a good thing. It adds character and depth. It's just something I recognize. Yes, and it's funny because flat earthers, it's not like you just get into flat earth. It's like, moon landing, then 9/11 and all this. So it's like this, it's a hierarchy. No one just is a flat earther. So that's what's funny is that like the flat earthers, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the black belt.
Yeah.
You know?
It's definitely possible to go from zero to flat Earth. I have seen it. But it's very, very rare. You have to do that staircase of disbelief. You have to start with, JFK, 9/11, moon landing, and you have to work your way up. But I mean, imagine being one of those people that went from naught to flat Earth and realizing. I was speaking to a guy the other day on Discord, and he's 2020, I think. He woke up to it all. He didn't do like a 10-year sort of college course on like to get his black belt. He learned it all from in 2 years. And can you imagine all of that hitting you like almost at once? Like, how do you go, oh my God, at least I had some time to get over 9/11. I couldn't believe it, but I had a bit of time before I got to flat Earth. It gave me a warning,
Yeah, you gotta do like a few weeks in, a few weeks out, let it marinate.
Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean,
This guy took it all on in 2 years. The whole fucking lot. It's like, dude,
Oh,
I'm surprised you still have your own brain left. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel if I looked into it now, I'd probably feel a lot more FOMO. Like, holy shit, I really should be quicker. But back then, okay, here's a question: what was the one flat Earth proof that, like, we all get them, but like, there's always that one that's like, oh damn, like, it made the switch. Like, holy shit.
I don't know if I had a switch moment. I mean, and the harnesses for me, I know it's not a flat Earth proof, but when I kept seeing the harnesses, I'm like, oh my God, and then you just unwrap it from there. At least you know that they're faking everything up there. So that was, I remember that bomb going off there. Oh my God, that was a point where I go, oh my God, they're faking it. But I think the 200 proofs had quite an impact on me in terms of we see too far. I never really did have a favourite proof, but I think like Bob would say, it's the preponderance of evidence. It's all of it. It's just like, how can, it's just, you have 200, this distance, that distance, this, that. And it's just like, you get to a point of no return. You're like, I've seen more than enough now, and I've only seen like a tiny fraction of what is really, of the information available about flat Earth. Bob's covered every flicking aspect of it for years and years and years. How he did a weekly show, I thought, how is he going to pull off a weekly show talking about flat Earth? There's no way. But week after week, as we all learn and continue, all this new information coming out, and it's just like this preponderance of evidence. And I'm going to steal that phrase from Bob totally. A preponderance of evidence, and it's just like, there's my proof. This preponderance of evidence. That's kind of it, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we were so blessed to have that. I mean, it's something so profound to learn, and then just be like, oh, there's a few people telling me this on the internet. Like it just, that was the hardest part, was like, this can't be how I learned this. This just can't be how I discover something this big. I mean, Jaren, I didn't see his face. I thought he was just like some like acne kid in his parents' basement. Like, I don't know why. I just the way his voice was, that's just how I imagined him. And I'm like, how does this guy, and I didn't like him at first, and then I just got obsessed. I'm like, he rubbed me the wrong way, but he was right. And I'm like, what the? And I'm like, how, this isn't normal. And that I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. So like, I just remember I was on a jog, and I just remember seeing the sun, and I'm like, that's it. That sun is right there. It's not 93 million miles away. And I had to like sit down and just be like, and just take a look around and just be like, I am no longer an atheist. I'm assuming there's a dome. Oh shoot!
Oh, that's a beautiful moment of realization right there. That's like a move. That's a movie scene right there. That's almost like in the Truman Show, where he's like picking up the satellite and the light, and he's starting to realize it's that moment. That's why that movie is like so many flat earthers' favorite movie, because they've all been through. That was my
favorite movie in '98. Yeah.
I've been surrounded by that. So now I'm more real than ever, because I do drop F-bombs when I'm talking to my friends in real life, and I'm just being more my genuine self, and it's very, very freeing. And people can like me or they can fucking hate me. I don't care. And even saying that is really freeing. So so I get what you mean about being amongst this family and just being authentic and saying what's on your mind. And you can talk to these people and no one judges. Well, there's a few people that judge you, obviously, but it's way, way, way more welcoming a community than I've ever been a part of before. I've never been a part of a community before at all.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't think it was possible. You're totally right. Like, I knew that I wanted to do like, a YouTube channel and kind of do what I do and do kind of like a truth oriented thing. But also at first, before I got really into it, before COVID, I was kind of more doing like, just kind of showing stuff, because I used to be in a kids music band, and we'd be like, hey. And that satisfies.
Okay, I just wanted to pop in here because I did make an edit, so that probably didn't make much sense. What up, everybody? I am live. Am I live? Yeah, we had to do a second Zoom, and we were just kind of talking about what was the topic we were going into? Oh yeah, we were talking about just not giving a fuck and owning our flaws, and that was a cool conversation. But I hit the record button like right in the middle of it. How's it going, everybody? Thought I'd pop in here. I'll play the rest of the interview here in a minute. I did want to pop in here. All right, I like these because this was a really great interview. It went so smooth. I didn't have much planned, and that was perfect. And it's just so nice to just like talk about flat Earth like it's nothing. You know, like we're all so used to having to kind of, you know, put a little. I don't know, just be cautious. And it's just so nice to just, with somebody who's been through it. You know, we're always kind of dancing around the newbies like, hey, like Alex Jones, you can't even talk about it with. So it's really, really nice. And, you know, I think that's really what this whole community is about is just, it's like we went through an initiation. And it's just fun to see what people look like on the other end of it. And, you know, somebody like Alex Michael here, like, you know, a musician and using that to wake people up. That's where I was like, oh my God, this is so much cooler to me than just being a musician that's playing like, you know, kind of vague lyrics. Like to me that's so much more of a purpose, and that's what I'm gonna get into a little later, like how cool it is that some of the people in this community are finding their purpose. And what's weird is that a purpose like this couldn't have even been fulfilled early on in life. It would have been impossible to be somebody who wakes people up to flat Earth in creative ways when we were younger because it didn't exist. And that was my theory with what's going on with growing up and then why we felt maybe perhaps out of place was because our destinies to see this we had no way of knowing that this was going to unfold later on, and we would like gravitate, for lack of a better word, towards something that we couldn't even prepare for. So like if we were going to do our life's mission, we couldn't complete it in our 20s. No matter, you know, we wouldn't have been able to if we were going down this route. So it's interesting, you know, a lot of people that may have been misfits growing up were just kind of in the similar kind of a thing, you know, finding what you're supposed to do and where you fit in later on. But there's no way we could have known that unless there was a Nikon camera that came out in 2014. So it's just what a weird world we live in. I wanted to play one of his tunes real quick. The first one I saw. Hold on.
Your apologies to anybody that I.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Brilliant. My bad. This is my first live stream. I'll get it right.
The Flat Earth Man album is out right now.
Oh, that's just faking everything that you have ever seen. Do you still believe we went to the moon? Do you still believe what they're telling you? All you're watching is a puppet show. Yeah, the whole world's a stage. Don't believe in gravity. Ain't no photographs or us. Somebody tell me why. Welcome to the satellite folks. Just another one of them NASA jokes. Don't let them take your mind.
Don't let them take your mind, man.
There's no such thing as outer space. We made it all up. Yeah, space is fake.
Oh, I don't want to talk about NASA. never again. The Flat Earth Man album is out now.
I always wanted to be an astronaut. I'll be in space. At least that's what I thought.
A friend of mine once told me to do a search online. Search for photos of Earth, he said, cause this'll blow your mind. So I opened up the Google and I looked for photos of Earth. A lot of photos came up, he said. Click on the first. He said, that's the famous blue marble that everybody's seen. We've seen this photo 1,000 times upon our TV screen. But let me tell you something about that famous shot. It's not a photo at all, man. It was made in Photoshop. Cause there ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof I was blown. No, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? Well, man.
Yeah, so it was this tune when I first saw that. This is why it's so brilliant, is because if I were to tell somebody that there's no photographs of the Earth, like they'll immediately say, "What the hell do you know?" Of course there is NASA and all that stuff. You can't really just say that to somebody. No one's really gonna look into it. I look rough with the glasses. Well, I don't know. I thought I'd keep it consistent. It gets bright in here. So this is why this song is so genius. He's saying, why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? I mean, it's funny, and he almost sounds like he's doing it in a way that, like, the drunk guy at the bar would make this claim, and so you wouldn't take it serious. But then
I was pretty shocked. I needed further proof that this photo's Photoshop. He said, look up Robert Simon. He made that cartoon ball. He's the guy you should research. He works for NASA and all. He openly admits that it's all just artistry. He said, and I quote, it's Photoshop, but it has to be. There ain't no photographs of Earth. Somebody tell me why. They're all just Photoshop cartoons. They're all just CGI. No photographic proof I was blown. No, none at all. Why the hell can no one take a photo of this ball? Yep, every photo of the Earth is artist trickery. All the photos on Google, man, are as fake can be. Download all the photos and put them side by side. Compare all the continents, they're each a different size. Compare all the colors, each globe a different shade. If all of these were photos, man, they should surely look the same. Where's the continuity? There's none, no, none at all. All that NASA gives us is a bunch of cartoon balls, cause there ain't no...
All right, so yeah. So then you realize that there's no way this guy's going to make a claim like that without doing research, and he shows you. And you're just like, well, obviously he wouldn't make that claim. He's done his research. And that plants a seed really brilliantly. You know, in 2016 or 2017 when I saw that, I didn't even know how to register it. Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to play the rest of the interview. I have an amateur set up here. So it restarted it because I didn't hit that right. One of these days I'll get this right. Oh, where did the thing go? How you guys doing? What up, Singe Man, Ian? I like this chat. You guys are enjoying it. Looks like got quite a few people watching on YouTube. I'm on Rockfin, by the way. I mean, Rumble and Rockfin. I am on Rumble. In case you guys have a Roku and want to watch it on a smart TV, you can do that now. Also, I believe Globebusters is coming up in a little bit, and Alex Michaels got a new intro song, and I'm looking forward to hearing it. It will be premiering, so I won't be taking up too much of the time today. All right, let's go back to this. Where were I? I think it was right about where we talked about Truman Show. And Truman Show was the shit. Let's see here. If I do, it's like, you know, you can kind of tell when you meet people that they've, you know, that it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's not to say anything bad. I think it's a good thing. It adds character and depth. It's just something I recognize. Like,
it's like, how can it's just, you know, you have 200 this distance, that distance, this, that, and it's just like you get to a point of no return. You're like, I've seen more than enough now, and I've only seen like a tiny fraction of what is really, you know, of the information available about Flat Earth. Bob's covered every freaking aspect of it for years and years and years. How he did a weekly show, I thought, how is he going to pull off a weekly show talking about Flat Earth? There's no way. But week after week, as we all learn and continue, all this new information coming out, and it's just like this preponderance.
So I just want to apologize. Sorry that we're hearing some of this again, I think. I really should have turned off restart when I uploaded this. I'm going to re-upload this whole interview, though, just the meat and potatoes. In fact, I was planning on kind of cutting it up into like a few different sections based on the content, because the subjects kind of go all over the place, but we really lock into some really key points that I think should be uploaded on their own.
Of evidence, and I'm going to steal that phrase from Bob totally. A preponderance of evidence, and it's just like, there's my proof. This preponderance of evidence. That's kind of it, really.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we were so blessed to have that. You know, I mean, it's something so profound to learn, and then just be like, oh, there's a few people telling me this on the internet. Like it just, that was the hardest part, was like, this can't be how I learned this. This just can't be how I discover something this big. I mean, Jaren, I didn't see his face. I thought he was just like some like acne kid in his parents' basement. Like, I don't know why. I just the way his voice was, just how I imagined him. And I'm like, how does this guy, and I didn't like him at first, and then I just got obsessed. I'm like, he rubbed me the wrong way, but he was right. And I'm like, what the? And I'm like, how? This isn't normal. And not that I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. So, like, I just remember I was on a jog, and I just remember seeing the sun, and I'm like, that's it. That sun is right there. It's not 93 million miles away. And I had to like sit down and just be like, and just take a look around and just be like, I am no longer an atheist. I'm assuming there's a dome. Oh shoot!
Oh, that's a beautiful moment of realization right there. That's like a move. That's a movie scene right there. That's almost like in the Truman Show, where he's like picking up the satellite and the light, and he's starting to realize it's that moment. That's why that movie is like so many flat earthers' favorite movie, because they've all been through. That was my
favorite movie in '98. Yeah.
I've been surrounded by that. So now I'm more real than ever, because I do drop F-bombs when I'm talking to my friends in real life, and I'm just being more my genuine self, and it's very, very freeing. And people can like me or they can fucking hate me. I don't care. And even saying that is really freeing. So so I get what you mean about being amongst this family and just being authentic and saying what's on your mind. And you can talk to these people, and no one judges. Well, there's a few people that judge you, obviously, but it's way, way, way more welcoming of a community than I've ever been a part of before. I've never been a part of a community before at all.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't think it was possible. You're totally right. Like, I knew that I wanted to do like, a YouTube channel and kind of do what I do and do kind of like a truth oriented thing. But also at first, before I got really into it, before COVID, I was kind of more doing like
just kind of show me stuff because I used to be in a kids music band, and we'd be like, hey, and I that satisfied me because I wanted to use my music to like do something good. I stopped trying to be a rock star, and so I was trying to do something like educational, but it just wasn't the same. And I just felt like I was just so I can't say what's really on my mind, and it just drove me. It just kind of like pushed me to an area where I'm like, I don't know, like if these are the only people I can just be myself with. And I will say, when you say that, like, fuck it, like I just want to be myself. I look at AI like that is what's really going to be most valuable. Like everybody's trying to be fake and all this stuff, and I think the most valuable thing in the future is going to be authenticity, things that like AI can't fake. Like you coming on here saying, like, I fucking swear, maybe have like a couple brandies and stuff or whatever. Like I can't tell you how many streams I've been like, oh man, I probably should take that down, but I don't. And,
Yeah, I'm the same. My wife is like, oh, I wish you, because I like a cognac in the evening, right? I fucking love a glass of cognac, and I'm on a stream and I'm drinking. She goes, I do wish you wouldn't drink constantly, but because people are going to think, I go, fuck them. The reason I can do what I do today is because I spent my entire life in pubs surrounded by alcohol. I'm a bit more intense. I can keep control of it. I don't need it. I've just done a two-week fast, just water, no fucking food. I'm very, very strong-minded like that. So I like a drink. I like a smoke. I like to swear. And so what? So fucking what? Because there's a lot of truthers out there who will give you a hard time for eating meat, drinking alcohol. They're so fucking preachy. It's just like, Jesus. Have a fucking beer, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? Lighten up a little bit,
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, a flat earther does not mean that you have to be this, homesteading choir boy. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, that's, you're completely right. And I had that realization too. Like, everybody's very opinionated, but it's when I don't give a shit is when I
Freedom.
recognize that's freedom. And also, and just embracing our flaws. Like, it's not like I'm like advocating, like when I just quit smoking, but I was smoking on my streams, and I wasn't like trying to sell it, but also I was like, I don't care. I want to smoke. I don't want to just do a break because I have to smoke. I'm addicted to these things. Who cares? But like, I don't know. It's there is an element of like shit. Like, I think,
and you got to understand that there's a lot of people in this movement. You and I probably included. I have to. There's coping mechanisms here.
Yeah.
We all know the world is such a deep, dark place, and that sits with you forever now. All I'm offering is the truth, right? You've got that forever. You're in a dark, dark place. And I know how much worse it can get, particularly with the CBDCs that are coming. If that's allowed to happen, then that's going to be a level of slavery we've never seen before. So all of this stuff is like twiddle. So I have a coping mechanism. I smoke a bit of weed. It helps me. There's no way I can go through this dark information, living life like some meditating monk at the foothills of the Himalayas, right? It's never going to be me. It's not me. So I'm going to have a drink. If I feel a bit pissed off and I've had a hard day and I want a glass of cognac to unwind it, it really helps me sleep and loosens my shoulder and that, I'm going to do it. So it's just like, but it's just when people see you, he drinks. Yeah, what do you do? I bet you've got a coping mechanism. I guarantee you do something. I bet you've got a fucking pill full a cupboard full of pharmaceuticals. We've all got them.
We all got them, absolutely. Yeah, it just because we're flat earthers doesn't mean that like we're monks. And to be honest, I think like it does a disservice for the community to be fake, especially like like flat earthers should be flawed. We're just normal people that saw the truth. Like, that's it. If anything, like we probably have a lot to work on, and that's kind of our jam. It's just like, okay, I put that on the list of
shit I got to get through. More shit I got to deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta meditate more. I gotta coffee.
We've all got to. I've got to do more of this. I've got to eat less sugar. I've got to eat less bread. I've got to get off the coffee. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's part of the mindset. We're all manic motherfuckers. It's just. I mean, every flat Earth meetup I go to, like 80%, we're all smoking cigs outside or spliffs, and it's awesome. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Just owning it. and just being free. And I think that's the thing about being a flat earther is like
Be,
once you
be,
kind of say,
what you say is being a genuine wreck. To just show that you are a genuine wreck and you're expressing it is great.
yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's something I'm kind of getting used to, and just feeling like I'm like supporting a community. But
And
it's
here I
kinda
am smoking a bong. I'm smoking a bong, everybody. I'm going to have a little hit
there
right
you-
here, right now.
Where's my bong? My bong's inside. But yeah, no, I mean,
Deal with
I'm just
it. Call
gonna
me a stoner.
yeah, no. I'm just gonna do a quick little line here, and I'm just-
Actually, if I'm completely honest, I don't really smoke that much THC. That the stuff that I'm using there is all CBD. It's like got trace elements of THC, but less than 1% of THC. That's my go-to weed in the daytime. I might have a bit of THC in the evening because what I found with THC is it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger these days. Maybe there's some manipulation behind it, but it actually starts to give me a bit of anxiety. I've already got quite an overactive brain. And when you start stimulating that with THC, it's too much, and it turns into anxiety. So it's not
I know that.
for all those watching. It's only CBD.
yeah, no, absolutely. Like it gets to a point where if I smoke one hit, I'm good. 2 hits, I'm like, oh crap, I'm thinking about everything I've done wrong. Or you know, it just like a loop in my head. So, or like I know, I completely know what you mean. I got to be careful. Blue Dream is the one that doesn't do that. But like I don't know. I just want to say I admire you, man, and I'm looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you,
more
man. I
people in the
appreciate it.
future doing this, just putting your
Yeah.
face on it and just owning it like you do. You know, like especially with COVID, I was blown away. How so few entertainers were putting their face on anything. I'm like, where are you? Where are you, Rage Against the Machine? Where, you know, like obviously, like you did the show with Jim Brewer, and that was awesome that he came around, but like still kind of late. Not saying anything bad. It's just it took some time for everybody to kind of, but not one flat earther fell for it, and that says something. And so, I don't know. It's
No,
just,
we do need more people. We need more creative people doing stuff that I'm doing, and because that sort of stuff travels well, like the Jim Brewer stuff travels well because it's just comedy, right? It's just comedy, but of course, if you can critically think a little bit, you can peel off a couple of the superficial layers and see what's really hiding beneath it, which is just how are we putting up with this, and create a comedy and create a music and stuff. It travels further than these kind of interviews, because people don't want to sit down and watch 2 hours of deep conversation. They want to watch a comedy show. They want to listen to watch a 5-minute music video. That stuff will always get shared because it makes you laugh. These conversations don't.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, I love these kind of conversations. I put these on and I do my chores, and I'm like, yes. I know you did the THC show, right? Earlier.
Yeah. We was just talking about 420 and that, and the origins of 420. Just talking a lot about cannabis, really. Yeah, it was a cool show. Obviously Mike. I love Mike and Austin, and Zach was on there, and a girl called Sarah, who I haven't spoken to before, but I've seen her phone in on Jeranism show. Very lovely lady. She told me that her kids love my stuff, which I obviously love hearing. So yeah, that was a nice little show. So yeah, I've been busy doing that today and experimenting with electro culture as well. I'm fucking around with that, and boiling vinegar to get rid of chemtrails, all that stuff I'm experimenting with. Whether it works or not, I don't know, but it seems that a lot of people doing it.
I've
seems to have
heard
positive.
that it works ridiculously well, and I'm like, that can't be true.
It apparently, according to Amanda Vollmer, creates an unstoppable chain reaction that creates hydrogen that gets rid of chemtrails or heavy metals in some way, shape, but I don't know. I'm probably sure there's a science to it. What we need is for people to do it, more people to do it, for more people to document it on video so we can see. But I had some success with it. Crow 777 had some success with it. Amanda's had success with it all year. She swears by it. But there's also electroculture things that you can do for chemtrails as well. So I'm experimenting with that. It's just never a dull moment, is there, really, when you're in this realm? So
yeah, no, I did the same thing with Morgellons and the wine test for like 6 months. I'm like spitting and just pouring alcohol. Like, oh my god, is it moving? I don't know. Are you familiar with that? Like the Morgellons?
No.
Oh yeah.
Is it where you put it over a steak or something, or?
Well, if you swish some wine or grapefruit juice and spit it into a bowl, you'll see all these like hairs or something because it's like
under a magnifying glass, you mean?
Well, you can see it with your eyes,
Okay.
and if you pour like alcohol, like isopropyl alcohol, or like nail polish remover, like it starts moving like crazy, and it just bunches up, and it looks like it looks pretty scary. Like these, like,
That's because everybody's filled with parasites and they don't know it.
yeah, no. So that was my similar thing that I went through, like where I'm like, I never a dull moment. I'm just gonna be sitting here spitting and checking my parasites, and I'm gonna have to try the vinegar one, man. That's
Yeah, the vinegar one. Oh my god, that's well, we'll see. Apparently, you don't even have to boil it. You just have to warm it up a little bit and let it sit, and then put it in a black bucket so it warms it up a little bit in the sun, and it just the natural. You don't even have to sit there with a burning electricity. You just leave it out in the sun. Apparently, so I'm going to experiment more with it. Could be someone winding us up. It could be a big fucking joke. It could just be your intent. Maybe I don't know. A buddy of mine who's quite heavily Christian, he had loads of chemtrails over his house. He went into his bedroom and prayed, "Dear mighty God, please spray that crap away from my house." A couple of hours later, it was all gone. So is it his prayer doing that? Is it his intent? Is it a coincidence? I said, do it again and do it again and then do it again and have a prayer, like a prayer log. See how many times it worked and how many times it didn't. It's science. Just have more people doing it. Repeatable. Could be something to the vinegar thing, though. I sense. I don't know. We'll have to find out.
maybe if you wear a mask, it goes away. I mean, that seems like the
It's the magic.
scientific.
It's the magic
Yeah.
piece of clothing, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, and that's pretty much where we ended it there. But yeah, that was a fun little interview. When I re-listened to it, I forgot how fun that was. We probably could have gone a lot longer. I just didn't want to eat up more of his time. But what a great dude. Really inspiring. I was gonna use the rest of this time to play this TED Talk that kind of spoke to me. It's really quick, but it teaches you how to find your life's purpose in like a minute. And I found, so when I see people do things like waking people up to flat Earth, like showing the world the lies, the deceptions, something that could just that job didn't exist prior to 9/11 especially, but like it's really just a brand new job like AI. And it's a weird one too because it's not really like a lucrative one. It's not something that's going to be pushed by your parents, and it's not something that you have to do it for love. And all the culture jammers and all these people that are using their skills to wake people up and finding new ways to do it to make it more palatable. It's a strange calling because it's not something that you just think about or you go to your counselor to figure out that's your thing. So for someone like Alex here who saw the earth was flat and then made another voice and kind of turned into a character which just brilliantly kind of fell ass backwards into. If he was doing it really just to kind of like to mask himself, but what he found was something genius and something that planted a seed in a whole new way. And I'm just so glad that he didn't like become a systemite before that or like find something early, like it's really, really cool. And I relate to that. So yeah, one thing I just want to play this because it's really inspiring for people in the truth community to know that wherever you are right now is where you're supposed to be. And if you're involved up to this point, if you see the lies at this point, at least like at the level we're at with Flat Earth, you're probably supposed to have a kind of difficult time here. You're probably not supposed to have everything all figured out in your life by now. You need to be hungry and a little bit uncomfortable to the point where it'll push you. because we were given a great gift of eyes to see, and you gotta. The only way to honor God is to use the gifts that He gives us. It's the best way. So check out this. See if it resonates with you guys. Oops. All right. Yeah. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you do it for? What do they need? And what do they gain out of it? Anybody that has an interest in waking up the collective hive mind to things that are important enough to you to risk your reputation, your finance, security, your whatever stride you've been on. Like I said, we didn't land on flat Earth. Flat Earth landed on us, like Plymouth Rock. And if you decide to see these things and own it and put your face on it, you're doing a giant service for humanity. You're making it easier for everybody else to see it. Because the more people that own it, the more people will own it. That's just how it works. We saw how the masks work. So I love this community more after talking to Alex Michael because it just feels so right. My whole life I've been trying to do things and I just would run into walls, and it just seemed like everyone I was working with or just was on another wave. I just don't feel like that anymore. Even though it's taken 40 years, it had to, because it wouldn't have made sense earlier. So it's really cool seeing how this all unfolds in life, and I hope you guys just found your life's purpose. And it doesn't have to be specific, but I think it's a very noble thing to keep in mind the collective mindset and giving them flat Earth. The other conspiracies, unfortunately, they have to go through. It's a prerequisite, but there's nothing more beautiful than knowing what we're on, and there's nothing more important to tell anybody about, in my opinion. And we're finding more and more ways to broach the subject, to ease them into it. At first, everybody was showing proofs, debate. And now we're kind of getting to the point where now we're just doing shows where we're just kind of more focusing on us and how we went through that, and talking about our own individual, stories, and kind of just being support and making this community look a little bit more together. And we don't have a PR team or nothing like that. Obviously, we don't have a budget for it, but it's coming together great. And it's going to take time, because no matter how many proofs we send people, some people just aren't going to see it. Just like trying to, like a 90-year-old racist woman in the South's not going to be like, you know what? I think I was being a little racist when I called them, whatever. It's just not going to happen. It's not supposed to. We have to. It's all unfolding, and so it's really nice. Is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I'm looking forward to Globebusters coming on up in 10 minutes. And check out some of the links in the description. If you guys want to tip, that would be awesome. I have links down there as well. Thanks so much. Let me just check the chat. This is a fun one today. Restore chat. Nothing. Where are you, chat? Did I lose you? You're all back. Struggling to get people to get 9/11. Good. The other day I saw, I think it was Melodome, Austin. He said something, it was like a meme saying, oh God, they're saying, what does it matter? Why would they lie? Of course.
but they're really saying, please tell me it's not a big deal. Please tell me it's not gonna like ruin me if I do look into this. It's no big deal. No, it's a big deal. And that's what they're saying. They're basically saying, hey, what does it matter? You know, I mean, I still got to go to work. That's really them saying, please, I hope, I can't look into it if you tell me it's hard. So we got to act like it's no big deal. We're finding ways. It's just nice that we can talk like this now. Like I forget, it wasn't that long ago when I just was, I didn't talk to anybody. I had to drive 2 hours up to Palmdale to talk to somebody for the first time, and it was a big deal. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna end with "Why Do You Trust These Liars?" Me and Jaron wrote these lyrics, and our man Alex Michael did all the music in like a couple days, like a G. I couldn't believe it. So, hopefully I don't get a strike for this. I think I'll be all right. If it's a stream, it's okay. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. Sunday. I like doing this on Sunday right around this time, so I'll probably do this next week. Good stuff. All right, I go here, bam.
I wonder if you would recommend locking down schools if you had to do it all over again.
You're okay. You're not gonna get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
First of all, I didn't recommend locking anything down.
Vaccinated people do not get sick.
I recommended to the president that we shut the country down.
Night comes zooming, level playing, missing curves, space escape, Boston bombing, false flag, Joe Biden torpedo. Dr. Fauci always lying, Stevie Wonder isn't blind, fake the real, we shall see it down the rabbit hole. Bilderberg's fake bomb, Mike Obama, huge down bar, up the Kenyan guy, has your wife identified, warp speed, vaccine, J&J, ultra genes, my yo, kiss your sweet ass goodbye. Why do you trust these liars? You must be discerning, cause the world's not turning, no more astronauts or wires. This world is making you know, we know it's time we expose it. Health Department, NSA, CDC and TSA, IRS, CIA, and NASA is a crock. SpaceX, Space Force, space is clearly fake, of course. Devon Island is Mars, Elon Musk is launching cars. Einstein was a queen, 2 more weeks of quarantine. Jussie Smollett, fake attack. George Floyd, swallowed crack. Said he couldn't breathe at all, overdosed on fentanyl. ALC and Alex Stein, my big booty is so far. Why do you trust these liars? You must be discerning, cause the world's not turning. No more astronauts or wires. We are sick of these clowns, let's get the circus shut down. Bin Laden in the sea, Robbie Parker smiling. Epstein didn't die, flight logs are classified. California communist, Newsom tops the list. Mask your kids, stay inside, for your health formaldehyde. Bugs, World Economic Thugs, Klaus Schwab, Castro, his son Justin Trudeau. Psychos, the elite, Bill Gates are tracking me. Biotech, Moderna, Pfizer, AstraZeneca. Why do you trust these liars? You must be discerning, cause the world's not turning. No more astronauts or wires. This world is making you know, and now it's time we expose it. 9/11, no planes, another dream, another day. Building 7 falling from the plane they're calling. Nanothermite concrete, passport found in the street. A Lucky Larry Silverstein, bullet like a slot machine. Shanksville, Red Pill, Rumsfeld, South, that's what hit the Pentagon. Where is all the footage gone? Why do you trust these liars? You must be discerning, cause the world's not turning. No more astronauts or wires. We are sick of these clowns, let's get the circus shut down. Climate Climate change, MSN, selling fear on CNN, moonshine, space walk, Alfred Dalton. All the astronauts who died haven't changed, still alive. Challenger, master plan, Buzz Aldrin is drunk again.
We have moon rocks.
Petrified.
That sucks.
Yeah, they lie.
The rockets fly.
CGI.
Planets don't.
CGI.
The ISS.
RBS.
Is Earth flat?
Actually, yes.
Not dinosaurs.
Yes, of course. I can't take it anymore. Why would you trust these liars? It may be concerning, NASA building is burning. Maybe carbon caught these liars. They deserve a takedown for saying we go around, 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 and round, and round, and round, and round, and round, and round. Why do we trust these liars? We must be discerning, cause the world's not turning. No more astronauts or wires. This world is breaking, you know, now it's time we expose it. Why do we trust these liars? We must be discerning, cause the world's not turning.